Hi, I'm Rebecca and welcome to episode 24 of the Creabea Knitting Podcast. So hello and welcome. As I said, I'm Rebecca. I'm a knitter, usually based out of Edinburgh, although I've got a change of location today. And yeah, this is a podcast where I talk about my knitting, what I've been knitting on, what I'm currently knitting on, and what I'd like to cast on in the not too distant future, and some yarny goodness, which I've got all of those today. I've been knitting up a storm in the past few weeks. If you are a new viewer, hello and welcome. Settle in, get cozy. If you're a returning viewer, welcome back, and no, your eyes are not deceiving you. I am sitting inside a wooden shed. So I normally film the podcast in my living room in Edinburgh, but this weekend I'm dog sitting for my parents, and so I'm out at their place and they have got like a very bougie garden shed. During lockdown they had 4 mostly grown-up children living at home, 2 parents and 2 dogs, and I think decided a little bit of extra space would not go amiss, and so they built this, I think it's technically called a summer house at the bottom of the garden. So it's pretty cool. It's got like its own heating, it's got Wi-Fi, it's got an office set up, so like a desk and a monitor and like a cozy chair and some bookshelves and like a projector and a projector screen, which is also pretty cool. So since they put this in, I wanted to film a podcast here, and today it's happening. I'm in the shed. I brought everything with me. I had to pack a bag to come out for the weekend, and I had like a tiny little backpack with like my clothes and my laptop for work and like my toiletries, and then I had a huge bag full of knitting because I just had to bring it all for the podcast. So I brought my acquisitions. Why did I bring my acquisitions? I'm not going to knit with them. I'm just going to put them back in the bag and take them home with me again at the end of the weekend. So yeah, welcome. All that to say, welcome. Before I jump in, I've had a few comments since starting the podcast about people who can't understand me, either because I speak too quickly or because of my accent or because of my enunciation. They're mostly very kind comments. Every once in a while they're not. But from an accessibility perspective, I just wanted to flag that you can in fact slow me down via the YouTube settings. There's a little settings cog on one side, I don't know which side. I think it's this side. And there's a little settings, and you can go to playback speed and you can hit custom, and then there's a sliding bar where you can speed up the video or slow down the video. So if you can't quite catch what I'm saying and you want to watch, but I'm going a bit too quickly, feel free to slow me down. I will not be offended. On that note, I've also a few times been asked about captions. YouTube generates captions for videos automatically, but they take a few hours to go up. So if I put a video up and there's no captions available, come back in like 2 or 3 hours and the YouTube fairies will have worked their magic and the captions will be available. So I want to mention those because I've never mentioned anything about it. And I felt probably it was time to say something. I'm not going to change how I speak because if you hadn't noticed, this is very unfiltered and really just me rambling. We'll call it authentic because that sounds like a better way than saying it's pure chaos. But I like the fact that I don't really script this. I just sit down and talk you through each thing I'm knitting or have knitted. And if I have to think twice about how I'm saying things and I have to put on like my public speaking voice, I think it just won't feel as fun for me. And the reason I do the podcast is it's fun. So yeah, all that to say, yes, I probably do speak too quickly sometimes. Fortunately, there's a fix for that, and it doesn't involve me changing anything on my side. So let me get to the knitting. I have got 4 finished objects today, which is a slightly obscene number, I will admit that. I have had, I'm working on this period at work, and so things are very quiet, and I've been knitting more than I probably normally would be, a lot more than I normally would be. So yeah, and then we had like a quiet, I have the door open, so there might be some like outside noises. like currently there's a lot of wind. I should check that it's not affecting the sound. Okay, I checked, the sound seems to be okay. I suddenly thought, what if I film this whole episode and I get to the end and find out it's too noisy outside? Let's hope not. So yeah, I've had a lot of extra knitting time, so I've got a lot to show today. I don't have much in the way of whips, but I got 4 finished objects, a couple of whips, and as I said, I packed all my acquisitions to bring them and show you as well, because why not? So let's start with what I'm wearing, because it's directly related to my first whip, no, my first finished object. Ta-da! It's my Kerr sweater. I showed this off last time, I think. I don't think I was wearing it. I think I put like a little cap, like a little clip in of me wearing it, but I didn't wear it in the podcast. This is designed by me. Yay! So I got my first design. The cardigan is coming out in 2 weeks. What? I've got so much to do. But it's fine. So I thought, yeah, you've got a whole pattern to release, why don't you just start another tester call? So this is a pattern by me. It is the Kerr sweater. It is a drop shoulder sweater, and it has colour work on, as you can see, the upper arms and on the body. I'm not going to stand up because my filming setup looks like it's ready to fall over, and if I get up it will fall over, so I'll just do this instead. You can, like, the whole colour, it's this motif just across the body. And there are 2 versions. This is my first version, so I'll talk about this one first. This is the version 1, which has a deep colour work, and it's a bit longer. The pattern is actually going to be even a bit longer than my sample. My sample's a tiny bit too short. It's fine for me, but for the look I'm going for, it's a bit too short. And it is knit out of Woolyknit British wool in 100% British wool, held double. So the gauge for this jumper is 22 stitches, and this is the oatmeal, and this is the cinnamon. The cinnamon is my favourite Woolyknit colour. I think it's so nice. So any excuse to use it, and I will. I think I have like 3 projects in this yarn. Yeah, I love this sample. Like, this one stole my heart. I'm completely obsessed with it. It's a little bit smaller than I planned it to be. I intended for like 5 to 15 centimetre positive ease. This one has 5, so this is a 110 centimetre bust. My gauge changed whilst I was knitting it, so I was aiming for a size up, but my gauge is a bit off. I think I'm going to make a 3rd one, which is ridiculous, I know, but if I do make a 3rd one, I think I'll size that one up. So yeah, this is the Woolyknit British wool. Nothing bad to say about it. It's definitely a little bit scratchy. It's not, like, I can feel it on right now, like I can feel the sweater, but it doesn't bother me at all. The place where it's particularly is like here on the neck. It's not a particularly high neck. Oh, I've got a mark. It's not particularly high neck, but there's no, like, I've got a t-shirt on underneath, and I don't have a t-shirt here, so there's that. I do find that when I'm hot, I find the sweater itchier, which I think is normal. It's the same with mohair. If I'm wearing mohair and I get too warm, I'm like, get this off me. So yeah, that's my first version. I'm really on the fence about sorry, what yarn to use if I make a 3rd sample. I'm going to make a 3rd sample, I know I am. I think I did a couple of weeks break, but I'm going to knit a 3rd sample, and I'm on the fence for what yarn to use, but this might just be a contender. Like, I might just make the Woolyknit, make it in Woolyknit British wool, especially because I think Inga from Knitting Traditions has got a discount code coming soon with Woolyknit, because she's doing a British wool along, or celebration of British wool. And also, I'd be surprised everyone to know that I don't have the colours I want in Woolyknit, because I have a lot of Woolyknit. But I want a dark grey one with like a white or like an off-white contrast. So yeah, that's what I'm going to make. I'm going to make it like size up, and I think I'm going to use, I've decided right now I'm going to use Woolyknit again. Oh, I'm so excited for it already. Okay, I'm going to do a quick change into my 2nd sample, and then I'm going to talk about the test call, which goes live today. Okay, so this is my first finished object, which happens to be the 2nd sample, and it is a little bit different. So it is cropped colour work. You can see it's like a narrower band of colour work, and it's a cropped length. So the version 1 is 40 centimetres from underarm to hip, and then this one is 30 centimetres. For all my patterns, I've, for the adult sizes, made the decision to just keep the body length and the sleeve length the same for all sizes, because I like whether my bust is 110 centimetres or 160 centimetres doesn't mean that my arms are necessarily longer. So I kept them all the same, and they're customizable. So like every pattern tells you like how to lengthen the arms if you need instructions, or how to lengthen the body. But this one is, so yeah, the longer version for all sizes is 40 centimetres. This is actually only 38, but it will be 40 in the pattern. And this one is 30 centimetres. This one also has like a slightly deeper ribbing. This is 8 centimetres, this is only 6. But yeah, all those things can be like pretty much switched in and out. The main difference is the colour work. So this is just one band of colour work, whereas this is double. I originally did this because I was doing a test knit for the Zosha wrap cardigan by Veron Rose, and that has a band, like a waist tie, and the tie was the same for all sizes, and some of the testers, like, they tried the tie on, and that 15 centimetres took up like so much of their torso because they have a really short torso, and I would never have thought of that. Like, I'd never really thought about the fact that this is 17 centimetres, I think, this colourwork panel for my gauge, and this could completely swamp somebody who was maybe shorter or had a shorter torso. So the original idea was to give 2 different widths of colourwork so that you could get the same effect for different proportions. That being said, I love this one, and this is, like, I don't think it makes a difference. Like, I think, I don't think it makes a difference. Like, I think it looks cute in like a different way. But it is like, it's mostly, you can see like it's a different, the motif is a bit different, but it's the same. Like, we're channeling the same vibe, right? Like, they're sisters, not twins. Oh, I can see the 2 dogs are coming out into the garden. Oh, my sister's coming to claim one of them back inside. So yeah, so this one is knit in the Rerum Natura Ulysse, which is 100% carded merino. It's a French yarn. I used the colour cedar and the colour, or cèdre, and the colour biche. This is like a forest green colour. I think the colours are great. I really love them. And I think this yarn is amazing. It is so soft, and it's, I don't know the difference between woolen spun and worsted spun, but it's the one that's fluffier. So it's got like, the air gets trapped inside it, and so the thing that keeps you warm is that the hot air is inside. I'm just looking at this puppy. He's like falling asleep. So cute. And so yeah, this is the difference between the 2 of them. It's okay, you can let him go. He's gonna knock over this. Hi, puppy. Okay, there was a puppy attack. And the puppy came running in and knocked over everything, and like got into all the projects and knocked over my filming setup, and so I was a bit worried. Yeah, it was all everywhere. And now he's sitting, very, I don't know, he's sitting looking a bit too innocent, just outside the door. My sister is looking after them. Anyway, so this yarn, I think I can't remember where I got to, but I think I talked about the sweater's difference, but I was talking about the yarn. So this is the Rerum Natura Ulysse. It's a French yarn, it's 100% carded merino, and I use 2 colours, it's cedar and it's biche. So it's like a forest green, and this is a very honeyed off-white, like a honey beige, but it definitely looks a bit paler, I think, with the green. Like, the contrast has made it look a bit more like just a classic neutral. This is incredibly soft, like so soft. It works really well for colour work. I really like working with it. I posted a picture on Instagram saying I think this will, this has to pill. Like, there's no way it can be as soft as a pill. And I got loads of messages from people telling me they've had their sweater for like 2 years, it's never pilled, or like they've depilled it once and it's in great, like, send me pictures of how good it looks. So this yarn really does seem too good to be true. I will definitely be using it again. I do feel like this one is a bit boxier. I probably should double check my gauge. I did check my gauge throughout, and I did a swatch, but I might just check it again because it feels a little bit boxier, but that might just be because it's a bit of a lighter fabric. This feels much more structured. The only thing, I got one complaint, and that is I don't think the neckline looks as good in this as it does in the Woolyknit. However, I could just pick up fewer stitches, or I could use a tighter needle, because I feel this one hasn't held the structure quite as well as this, which feels like it has held the structure really nicely. And like this one, the rib comes in a lot more, whereas this, it doesn't really. It's quite like sticks up, if that makes sense. But I think I could knit, like I could rip out the neckband and redo it, but I will not. Oh my goodness, this is the episode of distractions. Can we get, I'm not going to say it, I was going to say can we get through the rest without any more, but that's just asking for trouble. So I think I've covered in various sections the pattern, the yarn, but there's a test knit opening today. So the tester call is now open. I posted about it on Instagram and it should be linked down below. The test is 9 weeks, so I will start on the 21st of September, Monday. I'll start on Monday and it will continue until it'll start on the 19th of September and go to the 21st of November. So it's on, it'll open on Monday and it'll go until the 21st of November, so it's 9 weeks. And I knit my second sample in 12 days. So I think 9 weeks is going to be perfectly reasonable, even for the larger sizes. I'll be so interested to see if the testers find this too, but I find that it knits itself. Like by the time you joined in the round, like you've done all the yoke, and it feels like, because it's all like step by step by step, like knit this much, do these sets of increases, like it feels like, oh, suddenly I've got a yoke, and then the colour work just like flies because it's colour work and it's so like potato chippy, and then by that point you've just got a little bit left of sleeves and body to do. So yeah, I had to check, actually I checked on the last video to find out where I was with this 2 weeks ago to work out how long it took me to knit this one, and I'd started it 2 days before my last video and I finished it 10 days after the last video. I finished on Sunday evening. So yeah, it has absolutely flown off my needles and I don't know why, but I'm not complaining. So it's 12 weeks. It's, what else? I'm going to see what the test is. It's open now. It's open until Sunday afternoon, so probably like 4 PM GMT. I'll probably go through them on Sunday evening and pick out testers. I'll be looking for 2 to 3 testers for sizes. Currently there are 11 sizes ranging from 70 to 170 centimetre bust. That is a huge size range and I'm not convinced I'm going to get testers for all sizes. But I'm going to keep it open for the test knit and I'll see how that goes and see how we get on. Even the smallest, like 70 centimetres for this extra small is I think really, really quite small. Like that's getting into kids territory. So I'll see. I might, like depending on this interest from testers, I might scale, like I might drop it down to 9 sizes instead of 11 and go from 80 centimetres to 160. So we'll see. It will fully depend on whether or not I have testers for the sizes that I'm looking for. I'll pick, yeah, probably 2 to 3 per size. There's a Google form below, so you just need to fill the Google form in. It just asks for like what size you want to knit, your Ravelry handle, your Instagram handle if you've got one. I've got a couple of testers for Cargill who aren't on Instagram, so it's not like a requirement, but it's something like I quite like to see the aesthetics of people. I like to pick people who knit things differently to me so they can get like a wide variety of finished objects. I try to make sure that like we have like a wide age range, like I'm trying to make it as diverse as possible. I've had my Cargill testers, a few of them want to test knit again and I said they've completely got like first steps because they were amazing. And one of them is Mega from Skeins of Dreams, because that woman cannot stop signing up for test knits, but she wants to knit it for her husband, Baljit. So I'm really excited for that, to see like knit for a guy. I have no reason to think it wouldn't work, especially with the drop shoulder design, there's no shaping. So I'm really interested for that. So yeah, it's a really open test knit. I'm a pretty responsive person, so I'm pretty on it when it comes to the test knit. So if there are any changes or edits that have to be made, I'm usually around to answer questions. I'm going to keep it the same way as Cargill because I've got a lot of good feedback from that test knit. So there will be a Google document of the pattern where everyone can comment on it. And if there are any numerical changes, so there's something wrong with the numbers or whatever, they'll get updated as soon as I possibly can, like usually within a couple of hours. But I'll usually try to update that immediately, so you're always working from the accurate numbers. And then with the comments on like word this differently or like this is inconsistent, etc. I work on them through the test period and then usually at the end of the test, so like I'll consolidate all that into the final written pattern. There's an Instagram group, which is really, for cargill at least, it's been really fun and really chatty. And people like send little pictures, and like that's just been really nice. So I really enjoyed testing for cargill. I'm really excited to have some more testers. I'm pretty sure I'm going to cast on another sample during the test period, because I really want one dark grey. So I think there's going to be a third one. So yeah, that's the tester call. Last time there were just so many people, like there was no reason, like I was just picking people because I was just like, well, like, okay, you're someone I've interacted with before, like you're someone I talked to a lot on Instagram, so I want to pick you. Or like this person takes really like moody dark photos. I never take any pictures like that. Or like this person's really great at showing pictures off wearing them. I almost always take flat lays because I hate having to be in front of the camera, which is ridiculous mid podcast, but taking pictures of myself, I just find it so much of a faff because I have to like put makeup on and stuff. So most of my pictures are taken on my living room floor from above. So I really try to like get some diversity. And I also ask for what yarn you're intending to use. It's not fixed, but I would just like to make sure like there's a wide range of budgets covered, colours. Like I don't want to make sure that not everyone's going to make one in like the same 2 colours. So yeah. That's the tester. So the test call's open. There's also a post about it over on Instagram. If you see that post, I'd love if you could interact with it, because especially if you save that or you share it, more people will see it, and then hopefully I can fill all the test sizes, and if I can fill the sizes, I can release an 11 size pattern, which I would really like to do. So yeah, I think that's all I have to say about this Kerr sweater. I feel like I've been talking about it for ages because of all the interruptions. I hope I've not been rambling. I'm definitely knitting a third version. I think what I might do, this is really sneaky, but I think I'm going to wait and see what yarns my testers pick, and then, because I've got a couple in mind, but like I've not found the perfect colour. I think I want to use Woolyknit, but I'll wait for the discount code, and I'm going to wait to see what my testers pick, and I might just shamelessly copy someone else's because I really want one in certain colours. What was the airplane? Okay. Finally, we're moving on from my first finished object. Okay, my second one's a garment. I'm not going to put this on because I can't bother getting changed again. This is the Novice cardigan by Petite. I think that's all I have to say about it. Let me hold it up. It's got somehow like little bits of outside in it. That was the puppy. Ta-da! It's blowing out a little bit. It's a real rich, like board. That's probably accurate. It's a real wine red. It's a beautiful colour. I use drops air and drops brushed alpaca held double. It's a 14 stitch gauge, and the fabric is beautiful. Like it's a really, really, like it's not dense, but it's got a bit of weight to it kind of fabric. This obviously is on, I think I had to go down a needle size to like a 6mm, but it felt like it knit up so quickly compared to like everything else right now I've got on the needles is like 3.5mm. So this felt like it flew, absolutely flew. I don't have buttons on it yet because I've not decided what buttons to use, and also because I've got a tiny issue. Oh, I knit the 4th size, I think. I think my button band is slightly too big. It just, I mean, if I hold up there, like you can just see, like the button band sits a bit droopy, right? So I think it's just a bit too big. But I think actually my stitches, I picked up fewer stitches in the pattern. And I picked up 5 and 7, which seems to be like the norm. And I actually think the ribbon gauge is fine, but I think I've bound off too loosely. I usually go up a needle size to bind off and then bind off very loosely in pattern. And I just think that a tighter bind off will fix this. So I need to do buttons, but I also at some point need to take off the bind off and redo the bind off. That being said, I've been wearing this for 2 days and I'm not taking it off yet, so who knows if that'll happen. I think because it's quite fluffy, the idea of ripping this out is giving me a bit of a headache. But yeah, I love it. I really do love it. I think it's going to be something I wear at home a lot. I work from home, and I think especially for like, yesterday I wore it with jeans and a white t-shirt and like some gold jewellery, and I felt very like fashionable. Don't know if I really am fashionable, but I felt it. And I think at this time of year where there's like a bit of a chill in the air, but you don't really necessarily need to wear a sweater all day, like this is going to be perfect. It's so soft, there's zero itch. I bought both of these yarns in the Wool Warehouse Alpaca sale. It's like 40% off everything. So I had loads, like, it was really, really inexpensive. And I told myself if I ordered this, I had to cast it on straight away. So that's what I did. It's probably been on my needles for about a month. I feel like I've not really proactively worked on it. Like, I feel like I've just done a couple of rows here and there. But a couple of rows at 14 stitch gauge is like a couple of centimetres. And so I felt like once, I think I sat down to the yoke all in one, and otherwise the rest of it was really just quite, like, it just kind of plodded on by itself. It's got this nice bubble sleeve, which I really like. So yeah, I like this a lot. I've got the yarn to make this again in a green, like a sage green, but I think that might be more like the spring version. Like if this is the autumn version, like the transitional piece, that'll be the spring one. And yeah, buttons. I need to get some buttons. I will get some buttons. I ordered some and they're the perfect colour but the wrong size, which is completely my fault because the size is on there, right? Like websites tell you the size. So I've got no excuse other than just not reading the website. But yeah. It's quite big. I also blocked it and like blocked it width into it just because I like the sort of oversized cozy feel, and I think that's exactly the vibes I got. So yeah, I love this Novice cardigan by Petite Knit, drops air, drops brushed alpaca silk. I have 3 skeins left of each of them, or 3 balls left of each. It's quite a lot, but not enough for like a whole other thing, but still quite a lot, so I need to have a bit of a think about what to do. If anyone's got suggestions for what to do with 3 balls of drops air and 3 balls of dropped alpaca silk, please let me know. I think a hat, maybe 2 hats, I'm not sure. I don't really want to make 2 hats, I just want to make 1 hat. Maybe a muscle bearer, because that uses up quite a lot of yarn, doesn't it? And I do want to make one, and I do have that pattern. Maybe I'll make a muscle bearer. I just have to not wear it with this, otherwise I'll look a bit ridiculous. Maybe not, maybe it'll look cool. Maybe. So yeah, this is super cozy. I made a similar gauge cardigan before and I got gauge just using drops air and not using the mohair, and I was like, this is great, it's gonna be such a cheap pattern. But the weight of that one and like the density of the fabric, that one is much lighter and feels a lot flimsier, whereas this really feels much more solid. So I would definitely knit them both together again. The next drops alpaca sale, there's no doubt there'll be more. I will. Oh, the puppy is looking at the door. You're not getting in here. You're not getting in. Oh no. I need to show you what he looks like because he really just really wants in the door. Oh. He wants to be part of the podcast. His little tail's going. Okay, he's been rescued. My sister's carrying him back to the house and he's like looking over his shoulder like, let me back in. I'm very much feeling this colour right now. I've got a whip in this colour and I've got my phone case and I've got I don't know what they're called, Fial Craven, you know those backpacks, the square ones. It's the same colour as this. So yesterday I was on the train knitting my whip in this colour, wearing this with that backpack and my phone, and I was like, I'm a coordinated queen. This looks like I got my life together. So yeah, I think I'm going to get a lot of wear of this and it's super cozy. So that is finished up at number 2. Where to go next? Stay on the colour theme. I didn't bring the whole set, but I finished the cowl of my Webster set. So I've got a hat and a pair of mittens and a cowl, and I will say the cowl is the most boring of all of them and it's my favourite. Like, I think it's amazing. I'm going to put this on. So I know we're clashing a little bit here with my reds and my greens, but you're just going to have to deal with it. So I love a cowl like this because I love that, like, you can get, now I'm about to get to do it, but like you can get the ribbing to lie nice and flat and like underneath, there we go. And then this like tucks under so it becomes like double width, and then if you've got like a nice jacket, like this will just all fall under your jacket, and so like you're nice and cozy. And then obviously you've still got all this, so if you did want to like cozy up even more, you could. But yeah, I really like this one. In the others, in the hat and the mittens, which I think I talked about them both more in the last episode, if you have no idea what I'm talking about. This is another design. This stitch pattern is like a really interesting rib. It's like a rib, like a colour work rib kind of, but it's all done with slip stitches. And knitting this stitch pattern in the round is amazing. It's just so fun to knit in the round. I'm really excited about, I'm going to cast on a second sample and I'm really excited about that. In the hat and the mitts, I did the pink as the main colour and the red as the contrast. And for the cowl, I switched them up, and I think I actually prefer this way round. So this is the Webster cowl. There's a hat. I need to make some decisions about. I'm currently a bit under the time pressure of getting the Kerr test done and the cargo ready, and I really want to knit a second sample of this. So especially of the hat and of the mittens. I made one mitten and I know it works, and I made very bad notes. So I need to go back and make a second mitten. And then I'll probably do a quick turnaround test. I'd like to do get it tested just to see some more colour combinations. I just want to put this back on again. It's so cosy. This is another way to wear it. This one is knit up in Drops Alpaca, so it's so soft, like there's 0 itch. It's held double, rust mix and blush pink or something I think they're called. Oh, it's so cosy, and it's got such a nice drape to it. I really, really love this. I think I'm excited to have the second set. I went to Perth Festival of Yarn last weekend, which I'll talk about more about at the end, and I went with the intention of finding another yarn to make the second sample, and then I got sick on the second day and didn't go back for the second day, so I didn't pick up the yarn that I was gonna get. And then today I was gonna get it from Zakami, and then Zakami posted pictures of their swatches, which I don't think they had at the festival, and one of them is so stunning, and I'm sad because I didn't get it, but I ordered from another dyer online, so I should have that for next time. I probably will start it for next time. And I'm going to make one in like a beige and brown to test it again. So yeah, this has been really fun to knit. Like I say, this in the round's amazing. Blocking this out was stunning, and now it's just, again, like it's got the same like weight and drape a little bit similar. It must be the Alpaca of the other one. And this is super cozy. This uses almost no contrast colour. So the hat used 8 grams of contrast, which was 30 meters. It was 8 grams of yarn held double. I think that was just at one strand though. So that was 30 meters. And then the mittens used 4 grams each. And I actually didn't weigh this one, which is really stupid of me, but I'll weigh the second sample. So I think it's a really good way of using up scraps, especially I'm pretty sure that I can do the hat, the mittens and the cowl all with one hand-dyed skein of DK weight yarn, which I think is just such a nice way to do it, because it means that you could, like, one DK weight skein doesn't usually go very far, and it's still quite pricey. Like you're talking like what, £20, like maybe up to £25 for that. Whereas if you do that and you pair it with commercial main colour, it means that your contrast colour is going to go a long way. I know he's back. Just gonna ignore him. So yeah, so that is my cowl. It's my Webster cowl. I don't really want to get, I want to get this out hopefully by the end of September, because I don't really want to wait much longer. Like I feel like they need to come out in October time, or like end of October for accessories, because these would make really good gift knits, and this stitch pattern is so fun to knit that I think people are going to want to make more than one. And so I do want to get this out. Like I've put it on the back burner for a little bit, but that yarn I think will be arriving today at home, so hopefully I can get it cast on next week and then make some progress with the samples. I want to start with the cowl, because the cowl is the bit that I love to knit the most, but the cowl is the one that does not need samples because it's so quick. So like, and it's just really, the pattern for this is really straightforward and simple. So I will start with the mittens probably, and then the hat, and then wrap up the cowl. But yeah, so that's my Webster cowl. You can actually see a little bit at the beginning of round. You can kind of tell that this row is the beginning of round, maybe. And I think actually from the reverse this also looks really cool. I did not weave my ends in neatly enough for this to be reversible, but I think the reverse is also really cool. So I might make an effort with my second sample to weave in my ends a bit more neatly, and then it could be reversible. Okay, one more finished object, and then we can move on to the whips. And actually I only have 2 whips, so if we're already making paste through the finished objects, then we're going to be like halfway done. So this one I finished this morning. It has not been blocked yet, and I need to finish it for today because it's my mum's birthday gift. If you're watching this before your birthday, mum, skip ahead. I don't think you will be, but if you are. So she vaguely knows this is coming because she saw a couple of cardigans knit up in mohair and she really liked them, and so asked for something fluffy. So I made her something fluffy. Little did I know it would be quite such a burden. Like, I didn't think this was, I don't know why I thought this would be, it was easy, just a lot of knitting. So this is a wrap, kind of like a shawl wrap. It's a big rectangle. I'm gonna hold it up and you can see. So it's 150 centimeters wide, sorry, like long, like from this end to this end is 150. And I actually don't know how long it is either way. I'd hazard a guess at maybe 60 centimeters, I think. I'm going to block it out a little bit, particularly the length, and it's quite uneven. So I think it's just fluff, it's just garter. There's not a pattern for this. It's got an I-cord edging on either side, and it's all knit in garter stitch, and it's knit with a single strand of dropped alpaca. I am paranoid that I've dropped stitches, and I've not, but like, I don't know if you can see just there, it looks, I'll hold it up to the, like, it's just a bit loose. So yeah, if you look at it that way, it really is quite untidy. So I'm looking forward to blocking it and hopefully evening up a bit. And I think this is going to be incredibly versatile, to the extent that I'm considering casting one on for myself, because I think it's so cozy. So I think you could obviously just wear it as a scarf. And this is probably the main reason I want to block a bit more length into it, because I think it's a little bit short for a scarf, but like not too much. This is pure coziness. She wanted it for like a wrap for like going out somewhere fancy, but I think it's going to be a really good everyday piece. And then the alternative, which is the main reason, is obviously to wear it like a wrap. Like this, I guess. Just tucked around. Oh my goodness. This, I've not tested the warmth because I've not worn it for, I mean, I've only finished today. So I'll maybe sit like this for a little bit. I've not tested to see how warm this is going to be. There were a couple of days that I was cold in the past few days, and instead of getting a blanket, I just like, I was knitting on one end and I just draped the whole shawl over my lap, and it warmed, like I wasn't cold. So I guess it's probably going to be quite cozy. It's so squishy, and because it's a fluff, like it's very, very light. I think this might be 150 grams or something, maybe more, maybe 175. So yeah, I really think I'm going to make myself one. I have a couple of balls of, sorry, I got fluff everywhere now. I've got a couple more balls of this. I don't know if I'd make a black one. Part of me says yes because I've got some yarn left, so I should use the yarn I have. But the thought of knitting this up again making me want to cry a little bit. So I don't know if I'll wait a little bit and then maybe do a different colour, or wait a bit and do the black again. This, I did try to do 5 centimetres a day, and I didn't quite do it every single day, and then some days I did more. So I think I started it in perfect timing. Her birthday is next week and I won't be here, so my plan is, she's away, hence why I'm dog sitting. So after this I'm going to go and put it in go get it blocked and lay it out on the spare bed on a towel, and then hopefully it will dry by the time she gets home and I can just wrap it up before I leave. I've woven it on my ends and things, so yeah, it's just really lovely. I just think this is going to be so wearable. I'm a little bit sad I'm giving it away actually, which surprises me because I wouldn't have thought that when I first started knitting on it. But something else I got is also a shawl pin. So it's not a super fancy one. It's quite like, almost like Celtic, I guess, with like the hammered, I mean, I don't think it's a precious metal. And it just opens a bit like a safety pin. I have got no idea how to wear this. I tried this morning. And of course it didn't go very well. So I guess like you drape it, and then maybe if you want like this bit up here, and then all you shawl wearers are going to be sitting watching this being like, is she taking the mick? Like, does she really not know how to wear a shawl? No, is the answer. Okay, this is not going through both layers, but I'll show you it for a dramatic effect. Ta-da! It's not attached. But yeah, I think it's really stunning, and I think that is very much on brand for her. Like, I think she'll like that. And it also makes it a bit of like a, like the knitting was obviously the hardest part of the gift, like the most time consuming, but it's nice to not just give her like a big bag of fluff, but to give her the shawl pin too. So I'm so glad this is done. It's not, like I say, it's not been a huge burden. I'm actually also pretty sure I've dropped stitches, because I'm pretty sure that one end is narrower than the other, but not visibly so, like not dramatically so it's fine. I ordered some yarn from Pearl Soho to make a half and half triangles wrap, which has not arrived yet. It takes like a 1 to 3 week shipping, so I guess it might arrive by the next podcast. And I think it's unlikely that I will keep them both, like I do this again and the half and half triangles wrap. So I think I feel like I'll lightly cast that one on first. But I feel like this is some, oh, it's in my very cute bag. This is something I will definitely return to, I think, in the future, because it just feels like I would get so much use out of this. And like I say, I'm not really a huge shawl person, but if I was doing this, maybe in like a grey, and I added, say, 20 more centimetres to it, I think I'd wear a lot as both like a wrap and as a scarf. I might make it a bit narrower as well, like that one's quite deep. Okay. Whew, 2 works in progress. I have got more than this, however these are the only ones I've worked on. And obviously I got a lot of my needles this week. So this week I finished this sample, literally in the past like 3 days I finished this sample. I finished this on Sunday, and then I finished this on Tuesday, and then I finished this morning. So it's been a lot of like clearing off my needles, and I don't think I want to cast anything on. I think except for the accessories, when I get the yarn for that, I'll cast that on. But I'd like to focus a little bit on what's on my needles right now. I've got my daily pullover, which is my first fingering weight sweater, which I want to get done. I've got the Webster sweater, which is the cowl in a sweater form that I would like to get done. And I think there's something else, but I can't think what it is. And I'd like to at least get those 2 done, or like progress made on them before I cast on the next thing. And I actually don't know what the next cast on is going to be. I have a design that I would like to start on, but I'm feeling a bit burnt out with designing. Not burnt out, but like I'm starting a new job in 2 weeks, and the designing is taking a lot of mental energy. And I think with Cargill coming out, and then the Kerr test starting, and I've got a design on my needles right now, I think I'm just gonna like keep that one in the back burner. I need to get some yarn for it. I'd like to do some swatching, but I think I'm gonna like not rush to cast that one on. So I think I'll cast on something at some point soon, but I'm not sure what. And I've got a couple of sweater quantities I'd like to make some progress on. It's probably gonna be a Stockholm sweater by Petite Knit in khaki or in black that I cast on next. Like that feels like the next cast on. Anyway, let me talk about what I do have on my needles. They're very colour coordinated bags. Let's start here, which is because it's an uncharted territory for any new reviewers. So this is my Willow Bay bag. This is beautiful. This is a little I got my little pins on this one as well. This one is the yellow cord, and it's feeling very autumnal and on brand. I switched my project into this bag because I wanted to be carrying this bag around for the weekend. And for the next I think the next episode is going to be a Whopper episode. The cargo release is going to come out, and it's going to be episode 25, and it's going to be the 1 year podiversary. So there's a giveaway coming, and I've got a Willow Bay bag to give away next episode, a pink one. But this currently is holding some sock yarn and a pair of socks. I've not cast on socks for ages. I actually got a question recently from somebody who was like, do you only knit garments? And I was like, do you ever knit? And they expressly said, do you ever knit socks? And yes, I think I've mentioned this before, but I had done, sorry my ball is really unwound. I had knitted a little bit when I was younger, and I remember in university trying to knit a Fair Isle headband, and it was actually pretty good Fair Isle, but my gauge was huge. and so it didn't fit, and I was like, what is this knitting malarkey, like I'm just not good at it. Nonsense, I was good at it, I just didn't know what gauge was. And then 2 Christmases ago, my aunt, who is a prolific knitter, gave me a set of DPNs and a sock knitting book, and I picked up the DPNs and knit a pair of socks. And that's what got me back into knitting. And I think honestly, since pretty much I put those socks down, I've not stopped knitting. And so yeah, I do love knitting socks. I made a lot over Christmas, and I think I just got a bit sick of making socks after Christmas. And then I wasn't wearing socks over the summer, so I had no desire to knit socks, because I was like, well, I'm not wearing them, I'm just going to sit there, I'm not going to wear them. But I do now feel the need for some like cozy toes, so I pulled out some sock yarn. I wanted to cast on something. I cast this on yesterday morning, so I've again been flying through these. It's pretty much, I only pretty much cast on these yesterday. But let me show the sock first. So here we go. So I've got like it's a 2x2 chunky cuff. I got Doc Marten boots last year, and I didn't really get a whole lot of wear out of them because I got them in like spring, and I feel like boots and calico socks is going to be a look I'm going for. I also want to get like a shorter boot, but that's not at all relevant for what I'm talking about right now. So, and then I've got like a little stitch marker for every 10 rows, and this colourway is just really nice. So it's like a pale pink, and then it's got this like red, and there's like some like yellow bits and some like dark green. And this yarn is definitely what inspired me to cast on the socks. Like I wanted to cast something on, and I was actually going to cast on a Sophie scarf, which is that silly wee scarf from Petite Knit that I can't believe I wanted to. I mean, I want to make one. I want one for my hair. I watched Casey Apple from Young Folk Knits, and she had one in her hair, and I want one for my hair. So I went looking for yarn for it, and I found this yarn, and I was like, I don't want to make that, I want to make a pair of socks. So that's what I'm working on. This yarn is a Rico Essentials like luxury sock, I think it's called, which I picked up in Cambridge last year, and this colour is called Vintage Salmon, like the fish salmon. And I guess it makes sense, like all the colours in that range are vintage something, and it is pink, so I kind of get it, but like this is such a beautiful sock, I cannot believe it's called Vintage Salmon. So yeah, I've been really enjoying this. I first learned to knit socks on DPNs, and I was knitting on DPNs for quite a long time and quite liked it. And then I only last year, like only maybe December time, did I pick up a pair of, well, a set of Chargur red lace for Magic Loop for socks, and that really changed. Like I really didn't get Magic Loop before. I was like, why would you want to fuss around with moving all your needles after every row? And for some reason, I just really like it. So I use that now. I think I'd like to try the Flexi Flips, because I think I'd get on with them quite well. But for now, I'm happy with my Chagus. I really considered knitting a textured sock, and there's a pair of socks which I knit before, which were too small for me, and I want to cast them on again and make them for me. And so I do think I'll cast them on at some point relatively soon. But for this one, I thought let's just start with a plain old sock. And it's a 64 stitch sock. I use a 2mm needle, and yeah, so I'm really enjoying it. Like I said, I cast this on yesterday, so it's flying. I will do an afterthought heel because I don't like turning heels on socks, and I find that my sock mojo is fleeting and a bit flimsy. She likes to flirt with me, like, will we make some socks today? Will we not? You got a sock you've not finished from 6 months ago? Well, tough. So I don't like turning heels, and I find that if I have a sock, if I kind of get some sock mojo and I need to turn a heel, I just can't be arsed turning the heel, so I just don't pick up the sock for 6 more months. So I'm going to do an afterthought because I like doing an afterthought heel. I don't think they fit quite as well, and for gift socks I do like to turn the heel because, for example, my boyfriend is very hard on socks, puts holes in his socks, so I definitely do a gusset because I can do a reinforced heel with slip stitches, so for him I definitely do it. But for me, I mostly wear my socks around the house, and if I wear them out, I'm not very hard on them. So I will just do a afterthought heel. It's not a true afterthought, is it? It's a peasant heel, is that what it's called? When I'm going to put a stitch in and take that out. So yeah, I'm really enjoying these. They're just really like tickling my fancy right now. Like I'm really getting on with them well. And okay. My last work in progress is in this little beautiful bag. I got this as a birthday gift from my sister. She messaged me and said, I want it for your birthday, and so I sent her a link to this and said a bag like this would be lovely, and then she bought me the exact bag, which, I mean, I can't complain. It's what I asked for. It's from Elizabeth Scarlett, who I think are quite well known for making like makeup bags and like pouches, and this is called a maxi pouch, and I think it's a really perfect size. They're quite expensive, but there were some in the sale, so she got me this one. I think it was only £20, and I got myself one that's got a lobster on it. So I don't think I showed it last time, but I don't have it with me, so I'll talk about it next time. So this is my last whip. This is a design. I'm putting absolutely no deadlines on myself for this one. I'm working through it. Like, it's a bit more challenging construction wise because I've never knit this construction before. So I'm just taking it slowly, enjoying the process. I'm taking it slowly. I've got an entire sweater to show pretty much, but I'm really, really, really enjoying this yarn combination, and I really think I will get a lot of wear out of this if I can make this fit the way I want it to fit. So I'm taking my time with it to try and make sure I get a good fit. So where is the front and where is the back? That is the back. Yeah. So here we go. So it's a saddle shoulder with a 2x1 rib. It's got this nice big 2x1 rib chunky collar, and the 2x1 rib is going to continue down the sleeve and into the ribbing, and it's going to have a nice deep rib sleeve. It's going to have a really deep rib cuff, and we'll see. That's all I know so far. It's really fun to knit up, and so far it fits really, really lovely. I'm a bit concerned, like I don't really know how to do, I've not really thought through the sleeve cap yet, so that'll be the next, like, I was doing a lot of research and I was reading up about different constructions. I think for the whole designing process I've put a lot of time into understanding how different things could be put together. So the different constructions, like the drop shoulder construction, when raglan, like my short row shaping in the raglan, I did a lot of research into how that works. So I really have done a lot of reading on, or I've done quite a bit of reading, and I've got quite a lot of content to read on the saddle shoulders. And so because it's not a drop, like for this, the shoulder starts there, or this shoulder ends there. So I don't need to shape any of this, and I can just knit a straight sleeve. Now I do have a bit of short row shaping here for the colour work, but for the most part it's a straight sleeve. For this, you can already see that the saddle is going to sit pretty much exactly on the top of my shoulder, so like here. So I need to do a sleeve cap and then knit the rest of the sleeve, and I want that sleeve cap to continue my ribbing. So I just need to put a bit of thought into it, which I'll do. I'm looking forward to it, but I've really been enjoying, like I've been enjoying my sock because it's just knit. And I'm enjoying this right now because it's just, especially now I've joined for the body, it's just knitting in the round. So I'm going to make this quite a longer length. Sorry, I got so distracted there. I'm going to make this a bit of a longer length. I'm going to make it the same length as my Stockholm sweater because I get a lot of wear at that one and I really enjoy the length of it. I think mine is 35 centimetres long. I measured it yesterday before I left because I need to make sure I leave enough space for the ribbing. And yeah, I only put the collar on this week, and I was a bit on the fence before that because I didn't know what it would look like, and I put the collar on and I feel like, yeah, this is it. Like, this makes sense. I'm feeling it. So I'm hoping this is going to be something I will wear a lot. I don't have anything that fits a saddle shoulder, so I'm intrigued to see the fit of it. I don't think there are very many basic saddle shoulders out there. And so I hope this is going to be something which is fun to knit. It's so fun because you start with these little saddles, right? Like you just start with these little bits and then you like pick up stitches and there's like some shaping. So it's quite interesting, but it's not the same as just knitting a drop shoulder design. And I do think it fits, hopefully will fit better. We'll see when I knit the sleeves. But it's going to have an interesting detail with the ribbing, which I'm really into ribbing right now. Like chunky ribbing I'm finding it very, very inspirational, which is ridiculous, but like I'm thinking a lot about ribbing, which takes a lot of my current brain space. So yeah. So I'm just going to keep going with the body, and then maybe sometime next week I'll pick up the sleeves and see where I'm going with those. I am knitting this, and I think this is the best bit about this, is the yarn I'm knitting it in. I'm knitting it with one strand of Filcolana Arwetta, which is a sock yarn, and one strand of Drops Kidsilk mohair. The Arwetta is in the colourway Caramel, and this is in the colour Almond, and it sounds yummy and it feels yummy. Like, again, there's a nice weight to it, but it's not, oh, it just feels really good. And I think this colour, like, it's a proper camel colour. I think it's going to be I don't really have anything this colour in my wardrobe, and I can see it being incredibly wearable. So I have a name in mind, but I'm hesitant to use the name until I can make sure the sweater fits. Because if I use it, it's a good name, and if I use it up on this one and I don't like the end product, then I can't use that name again. So I'm going to knit the sleeves and then I'll see if I like it and want to do anything with it. I really had a bit of a talking with myself, because part of me was like, oh, like, it's not exciting enough, like, it's just a basic sweater. Do we need to have more patterns for basic sweaters out there? Like, do we need, I think that's a real, with designing, like, I'm like, oh, am I doing this, is this unique enough? Am I special enough? Is this design something I've never seen before? And obviously with, like, things like the Kerr, like, I've not seen a motif like this. Like, I've seen similar, especially with the leaves, but I've not seen the same motif. I don't see a lot of colour work across the body. So I was like, oh, this is so different. But with this, it's a lot of it is quite a straightforward sweater, and so part of me is like, oh, should I even, like, I feel like I need to stay away from that, but I'm going to stick with it, see what people think of it, see if people like it, because again, that's the other thing, like, if people are like, oh, I don't need it, then there's no point in me writing a pattern, I can just wear it for myself. But if it's something that people are interested in, and especially once it's finished, if there's an interest, then I'd really like to knit a pattern, like, write a pattern for it, mostly because I think the challenge of grading a saddle shoulder would be really interesting. And yeah, I think it could be a real classic, like a bit of a different sweater, but I'm holding it funny so you can see the ribbing. A bit different, but still, like, quite classic and quite timeless. So yeah, so those are my only 2 works in progress. And that's completely fine with me. Like I say, I had a lot going on. I've been feeling, it's felt quite cathartic to clear off my needles. I feel like I've been getting a lot out of that. That's been really relaxing. And there's a possibility that we're going to go on a trip in the last week of September, and I might treat myself to a cast on for that. Like, that might be the next time I try and cast on something, but otherwise I think I'm just really getting a lot out of clearing my needles, and it's feeling quite inspiring. Like, I don't really know what I'm casting on next. I often usually have my cast ons planned out like 6 months in advance, or I have such a big list of things I want to cast on that, like, I feel overwhelmed, like, oh, I have to knit the next thing. But right now I'm just knitting my things I've got on, clearing them off, getting some really wearable new things in my wardrobe. Yeah. So I have some acquisitions. Yeah, where should I start first? Okay, I'll start with these, because these are not yarn related, but they're yarn related, but they're not yarn. So I showed this pouch last time, I unpackaged this last time. This is, I think, called Dust, and it's from Mood. And I ordered this and a needle wrap, and I sent the needle wrap back. So if you watched that episode, there is a very obvious sense of disappointment when I open it and realise it's not what I was looking for. Fortunately, they had a great returns policy, and it was all in the same packaging, so I just sent it straight back to them. I wanted to use that for shorty tips, but it turned out, like, I thought it was going to be this big, and it was like this big. So it did not work for purpose, but that's fine, I sent it back. But I kept this one. So this is, like, now a notions pouch. So in here I've got, like, a crochet hook, I've got a handful of tapes, I've got snips, I've got try-on cords, I've got all my little pouches of, like, all my little tins with stitch markers in them. And what I'm hoping is that this is, like, my primary notions pouch, and then what I have is, in my project bags, I have, like, a secondary one that I just keep in the project bag. So this one, for example, I like to use this little leather, I'm actually going to order a few more of these. It's just a coin purse. I think this is the most perfect size. So in here, for example, all I have in here right now is measuring tape, a try-on cord, a needle for ends, and some stitch markers. And they just stay in my project bag at all times. And then this one I'm hoping is going to be a case, because I find like I don't really have a place to keep all my notions when I'm not using them, and then they get to the bottom of bags, or they get to the bottom of like, I've got a couple of like baskets that I keep next to a chair, so I have to like rummage at the bottom of them to find what I'm looking for. So I'm hoping this is going to keep me more organised to put all my, I mean, inside here's a mess, like inside is chaos, but that's okay. It's chaos all over the place. So I already have the Mood needle wrap, or it's called Stockholm, in this colour, in the whiskey colour for my Knit Pro needles. And then when I didn't get the, it was called an Enora? I don't remember what it's called. I set that back and instead bought myself a second needle wrap because, as I mentioned, my incredibly wonderful boyfriend for my birthday got me a set of Chowgu needles, which I've been lusting after for so long. It was such a good gift of him. And so I got a needle holder. And I think that actually the Chowgu case is really good. But I have got, like, this is the Stockholm needle holder in black, and I already have it in whiskey which is this colour, which I use for my Knit Pros, and I love it. I think it's really, really perfect. I really like it. I think it's so organised. And so I just got a second version for my Chowgus. So there are my shiny Chowgus. I've got a couple with more sizes, like a couple that I've got more sizes than I have. What's the word I'm looking for? Like, there are 4 needles in one slot because I've got more sizes for it. I'm just keeping the cords in their little plastic. We have a lot of these because we have board games, and a lot of board games come with extra bags. So I might end up splitting them out and just, like, this one's getting pretty full. So I might split them out, but for now, it's totally fine. And then in the pouch, like the main needle, I've got my big sizes, which I just don't think I'll use very often. So like a size 10, sorry, a 9mm and a 10mm. Oh yeah, I was like, they're the same. No, I got one of, yeah, a 9mm and a 10mm. Just in the big pouch, and things like it comes with some cute stitch markers and stuff. And I'm just keeping them in there's like a zipper pocket. So this is what it looks like. Of course I knew that was going to happen. Should have seen that coming. So these are, I mean, they're a little bit pricey. They're, I think about £68. So they're not an inexpensive needle case. But I've really, really appreciated watching my whiskey one age, I think, or like wear. I think it's worn so nicely. The leather's really softened down. I've had it for maybe 4 months or so, and I really, really love it, and I think it's a great way to stay organised. So now I'm really happy that I've got a black one and a brown one. I am thinking about getting a set of wooden needles at some point in the future, so I need to have a think about that. Like, I had to get one in a nice case because I don't have any more mood colours. But yeah, these are like my sexy needles, like they're the shiny metal Chowgus in the black case. These are my sexy ones. And my Knit Pros are like my homey ones because they're the ones I'm really comfortable with. So yeah, that's by no means nothing sponsored. This is all just my opinions. But I really love the Mood cases, and I will say, like, I didn't get the Mood hype, and then I got my Stockholm needle case, and I want a bag. Like, that's my next thing, is I want to get a Mood bag, like a big one. But it's all very nice quality leather, so it's quite expensive. So they're just not the sorts of things that you just, well, maybe you do just buy, but for me, I need to have a bit of a think about them before I buy them. Okay, this is the giant bag. This is the bag I would like to replace with a Mood bag. It is a huge bag which is currently holding all of the stuff I brought for the podcast, and the only thing that's left inside are my acquisitions. So let's have a look through my acquisitions. I've got, not so much, 4 skeins. My first one is in some paper. This was a gift from the lovely Raya. It was my knit night, and it was a birthday gift, and it is a skein of hand-dyed fluff from Zakami, and of course I love Zakami. Oh my goodness. So this is called Lulu. It is 74% baby suri alpaca, 26% silk. It's a 50-gram skein, and it's 300 meters, and it's lace weight. I've got no idea what to do with this. 300 meters is obviously like, it's not an awkward length, but it's probably like an accessory length maybe. So any suggestions, I would be very curious. I'm wondering if I should hold it with something and make something like an accessory, like maybe I'll make this into a muscle bra. It's really soft, so I don't think it would have any itch factor. Like, I think sometimes wearing mohair on the forehead can be itchy, but Suri's really, really soft. Yeah, there's no itch there. This is the itch test, the formal itch test. So yeah, this is just super, super soft. Look at that. And I feel like with like a pale fingering weight held with this would really let the mohair like show off all the different colours. Alternatively, if anyone got any great suggestions for what to do with some like a special skein of fluff, I would love to hear it. So yeah, so this is my first acquisition. I've been keeping it in the paper that I got gifted in so that I would remember to talk about it on the podcast, and now it can go into my yarn stash. Okay, the second thing is that I went to Perth Festival of Yarn last weekend. It was amazing. It was so, so lovely. It was a weekend long, on the Saturday and the Sunday, and I went up on the Saturday with a bunch of people for my knit night, and met loads of people, and it was really amazing. I went to Amy Palco's talk about colour theory and choosing colours for a Stephen West shawl, and whilst I have no intention to knit a Stephen West shawl anytime in the future, I'm not doing the MCAL, it's not happening. I really enjoyed the theory behind it, and I'm excited for the next time I'm picking colours, because I know that for this, like now I know I want the grey version, but for this one and for the original sample of the Kerr Sweater, I was really stuck on what colours to go for, and I couldn't think what colours like went together well. And I feel like I've got a lot of places to go and look for those now based on that talk. So that was amazing. And I met Caroline, who I've not seen since her wedding, and we went and had lunch and like just put the world to rights. Like we're talking about everything, we're talking about work, we're talking about knitting, we're talking about children, we're talking about everything. Like it was so lovely. I think we were there for like 2 hours at lunch, and could have stayed for another 2 hours just talking. So we're meeting up again pretty soon, which I'm really looking forward to, because we're not that far away from each other, but I think it's the sort of thing that you have to be like, okay, when have we next seen each other? And yeah, we hung out all day, and it was really lovely. I spoke to loads of nice people. If you're someone that I spoke to, then you're really lovely. And yeah, that was amazing. There was somebody walking around in the most incredible outfit, and it was like a green and like nutty brown tartan dress with a short sleeve, I think it was a love note over the top, and it was the most like perfect like woodland edgy look, and I loved it so much, and I felt so inspired that since Perth I wanted to go home and like make that dress and knit a love note. I don't want to knit a love note, but I want that outfit. So yeah, I just had a really good time, spoke to loads of people, and just yeah, it was lovely. I didn't go back on the second day, and I really intended to, but I woke up on Sunday feeling really, really unwell, just not feeling good. I spent the whole day in bed. Also probably a reason why I've got a lot of finished objects today, because I spent the whole of Sunday in bed knitting and watching, reading a new book actually. I'm reading Babel, would definitely recommend it. I was in a bit of a reading slump, and it's taking me out of my reading slump, so if anyone's in a bit of a slump, would recommend. So I was reading that and knitting and watching some TV and just chilling out on Sunday, hence why I got so much done. But I planned to go back, and that's the thing, like I didn't feel too stressed about getting yarn because I'm back tomorrow, so I probably spent less than I would have done if I'd gone for 2 days, which is both a curse because I didn't get the nice yarn I wanted, but also a bit of a good thing because I didn't spend so much money on yarn. What I did pick up though, however, was some more of this yarn. This is the Kinross 4-ply from Wee County Yarns, and I bought, actually no, okay, so I went to Beautiful Knitters in London pretty much a year ago today and bought 2 skeins of this yarn in this colour with the intention of like, oh, I'll make a hat or something. And then because I touched the swatch, and the swatch feels like cashmere. Like it is incredible. I have to remind myself, like holding this, that this is not what this will turn out like when it's blocked, because it changes so much. It's amazing. And the whole, like every time I talk to somebody at the festival, I was like, have you felt this? Like come and feel this, like dragging them to the Wee County stall to feel the samples of this yarn knit up. So this is what I'm using for my daily pullover. And I bought 4 more skeins of this because I'd like to use the 2 skeins I have plus the 4 I have now to make a cozy classic raglan light. And this colour I think is going to be the most wearable thing. Like a super lightweight fingering weight sweater, top down raglan. that feels like cashmere. It's going to be amazing. I didn't take the yarn. My plan was to take the yarn that I already had and check the colours, and I didn't do that. But I spoke to the person in the stall, and she said that she's never, like, the colours are incredibly consistent. So she had no concerns about me using the same yarn. So we'll see. I've actually not even held this up to other skeins to check. I feel like it might be a bit darker, but I keep making it up. And if it is a bit darker, I think I'll just order 2 more of this one and then do something else with the other 2 skeins. Because I think this would just be the most wearable thing. This is something I would like to cast on relatively soon, but I'm not having 2 fingering weight sweaters on my needles at once, so I need to finish the other one and then get this cast on. If you're UK based especially and you can get your hands on this, I cannot recommend it highly enough. It feels insane when it's blocked. If you come across Wee County yarns at a festival, go and squish their samples of this, and if you can get this ordered to you, I think it's like maybe £8 for 50 grams, so it's not cheap. But yeah, I think I'm gonna have, I think I need 6, so like 300 grams to make this sweater that I want. And if I do that, it's gonna basically feel like a cashmere sweater for not a cashmere price tag for what is that, 50, 60 pounds ish, I guess. So yeah, really excited for this. I want to cast this on, but like I'm really excited to cast it on, but I'm not like dropping everything to cast it on now, because I know I haven't, at least that is the fraction of self-control I have left, is enough to know that I need to cast off my other fingering weight project first. Okay, and then we've got 2 more things. So ages before Perth happened, I got a message on Instagram from somebody saying, I'm in the area for work from the States, how easy to get to Perth from Edinburgh? And I was like, it's really easy, like this is the website for the train, this is where the train goes from, da 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 da. And then I went off to Amy's talk and I came back and Caroline, we started chatting, somebody called Casey, and she was like, yeah, we spoke, and I was like, okay, like it just didn't click with me at all. And she's like, yeah, about the trains and stuff, and I was like, oh my god, of course. And I'd forgotten all about, like, the conversation was so far before that I forgot that she was coming to Perth. And she was so lovely. So we had a wee chat there on the day, and then I said, I'll see you tomorrow if you want to get some coffee. And then of course I didn't go back the next day, but she messaged me on the Monday and said, I don't fly till 3 o'clock, do you want to go grab a coffee? So we went and got a coffee, and I think we were there for like an hour and a bit, maybe more than that. Yeah, we met at 1:30 and left at 3, so like an hour and a half in this really nice coffee shop. We just sat and knit and chatted, and it was so lovely. And at the end, she was like, I brought you something. And I was like, what do you mean you brought me something? And she brought me some yarn. And I almost cried in the coffee shop because it's beautiful. So these are the 2 yarns. If you can tell, I've got a bit of a green thing happening right now. I do, it's true. So this is Anthology Yarn Company, volume 3 from St. Paul, Minnesota. It is Midwestern Merino and Cordale, woolen spun in Wisconsin. Oh, that's it, woolen spun. This is also very airy, woolen spun in Wisconsin, and hand dyed in Minnesota. It's DK weight, it's 65 grams and 200 yards per like hank. And that shows you just how fluffy this is, because that to me is like a pretty, like, this is a 50 gram skein of fingering, and this is only DK. So it's only really one size up, and it's so much bigger. And this one is called Lady Slipper. And you can see it's got some like really nice, like you can see over here, that like golden colour that's come into it. And this one is called Bracken. And this one's also got like some like yellowy greens, and it's got some like almost blacks over here. So 400 meters of this in total. I would love some suggestions. It's super soft, like it's sorry, it's really papery. It's rustic, but I could wear this next to skin, and I would like this to be something I'll get a lot of wear of. So like a really iconic accessory, I feel. So yeah, 200 meters of one and 200 meters of the other. So if anyone has any pattern suggestions, please send them my way, because I have a habit of getting really beautiful skeins of yarn and then not wanting to touch them because I'm too worried that I won't do them justice. And I would like to knit this up because I want to be wearing them. So a huge thank you to Casey for that. She travelled all the way from the States via Paris with these 2 skeins for me. And the good thing is that she took those out and then she could refill the luggage with the yarn she bought in Perth. But that was just so nice that we chatted about knitting groups, and we were chatting about like work, and oh, it was just It was really lovely. So nice. I felt very like fulfilled. Like I had lots of really good knitting chat after, like talking to everyone at Perth, had a really nice lunch with Caroline. I had this, I went to Knit Night on Monday, like some new people came to Knit Night, like it was just lovely. It was just really, I felt very like cozy, both in the literal sense because I finished so many projects and also in the emotional sense because I have lots of knitting friends. So I think I'm done. I'm sorry if this is a bit of a mental one. I also know that the wind has been going against the glass and I'm worried that it's been making a weird noise this whole time, but hopefully not, and if it is, it's just the side of nature. But yeah, puppy interruptions, my phone went off, so many things, but we're done. I feel like I'm forgetting something. Oh yeah, life updates. I start my new job in 2 weeks' time. So I've got another few days, just a few days actually, of working my current job. I've got a long weekend coming because I've got a bank holiday on Monday, which is quite a nice unexpected bank holiday. So I'm here for a couple of days, going back into Edinburgh. I'm going to have a really quiet day on Monday. I think next week I'm going to go, mostly because I need some yarn, I'm going to go do my Edinburgh yarn shop tour maybe on Wednesday. So my plan is to film that. I'm feeling very nervous about it because it means I have to go out in public and film myself in the street. We'll see how that goes. But hopefully that video will be up. And yeah, otherwise I'm using these 2 weeks before I start my the good news is that the Kerr test knit, which is open, and if you want to apply, please apply to test. I'd love that so much. It will be open and I'll pick my testers and we'll have started the test knit before my new job starts, which means if there are any glaring mistakes, like hopefully we've caught them early enough and I'll have some time to fix them. And cardigan will come out on the Friday, and my job starts on the Monday. So like my big knitting things are all like happening before my new job starts, and then I just need to like wait and see how things are when my job is starting. That's why I'm thinking like I've got this one design on my needles, but I'm enjoying just knitting on it. And otherwise I think a couple of months of knitting some really comforting projects whilst I have to deal with like a new job and all the scaries of a new job, and not be too stressed about knitting. So yeah, that's where I'm at the moment, and I hope you're all well. Hope you're enjoying like the colder turn. I've not turned the heating on when I came out here, and I've enjoyed the chill because I felt very cozy in my sweaters. So yeah, thanks for sticking with me, and I'm off to see how much chaos these dogs have caused whilst I've been filming. Talk to you in a few weeks. Bye!